Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I wanted to look at this video from October 1st, 2025. This arrest of this young man, and I want to look at it from a different perspective. This is WWP Reacts. By the way, my name is Bill, retired United States Army officer, retired teacher, and I look at this, and I've lived in Georgia now for 17 years, and I've seen all different types of policing. Now. And of course, I'm 64, so I've seen policing really shift over my life. Um, this is very interesting, but I'm going to just show you a little bit of it, show you how the police handled it. Then I want to go look at statistics of, of police forces, especially Jessup and some others, um, and the true statistics of how they're handling low level offenses like this and treating people. Because you remember there is statutes in Georgia that actually statute. What's it? Statute number here? Where is it? Just police. Uh, the oh, I'd have to go find the actual thing, but this is a state where unless it's a you're arrested, you don't have to go and provide your ID and tell them who you are. You says, "Am I free to go?" Unless you're under arrest. Now that's different if you're in a motor vehicle and they pull you over. You're required, obviously. And I'm not a lawyer. Okay, I don't tend to be a lawyer. I've had really no interactions with the police. I've had one, and it was in the local city I live in now, and I won't name that name, but it wasn't pleasant because of the over policing, in my opinion. Okay, so let's roll this real quick. Let's just listen.
Investigation. So, I mean, we could do this easy, we could do it hard, and I really don't want to do it hard. I mean, we can, dude, I'm telling you, we can make this easy, we can make it hard.
You're not gonna give us your name? Okay, turn around. Obstruction. You want to play your game? So we play.
So this is what I'm talking about. Police would have never talking to people like this. This man, up early in the morning, I don't know why he's out walking the main road, but there's nothing against the law about walking on the road with your dog. He sat down on the grass, and if you watch the whole thing, you'll see that they interview the woman who runs this church school, and he was supposedly near the driveway, which isn't against the law. And she came to see if he was okay. She called, did 911 for a welfare check because he was sitting in the grass or lying in the grass, curled up in a ball, whatever. It's not illegal. It's not illegal. And he's absolutely right. He's not required to give his ID. This is Jessup Police Department. Now let's talk about Jessup Police Department here. No wonder how I can get this into the screen. So let me
Many.
let me X out of this and let me go to here, and then let me see, how do I do this with this bodycam? Here we go. I think this does it. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so let's look at Jessup. This is from the police scorecard, Jessup, Georgia. They rank 46%. They don't have a ton of information because it's a real small place, right? And they're going to talk about this in a little bit. But the higher the score, the less force they use in arrests and stuff like that. So you'll see Atlanta has the lowest score, which means they use more first force per arrest. This stuff up here, for funding, I don't really care about. They have 14% fines. That's pretty in the worst category. So in other words, they use fine and forfeitures to get money. Arrest rate for low offenses, 24%. That's really bad. I mean, that means they're focusing most of the time, and I'm going to show you that in a second. Okay, let's go down here. There's 31 officers per 31.6, or 31.6 per 10,000 residents. That's more officers per population than 80% of departments. The city I live in, about the same size, they're 73% higher than all departments. Funding per capita, I really don't care about that, but I want to talk about this. Police violence by race. Now, in my city, this is more like 50%, and black population is like 30%. Here, now, of course, Jessup is down in southeast Georgia. I don't know what the demographics are of the population, but I'm assuming it's a higher African American population than where I am up here in the northeast part of the state, per capita, right? Just because of where it is. It's down, closer southwest of Savannah. Um, so that's just something there, right? Okay, they've had 5 homicides. They've, that have been unsolved. They haven't solved one homicide in 10 years, from 2013 to 2023. I find that quite interesting. Um, my city had one and it's solved, but my city also has one killing of an innocent person who allegedly had a gun, but turned out they did not, and they killed him, and it was a black man. Not right, not good. I don't know what's happened to policing. I really don't. As a retired Army officer, I just don't get it. I've never been a cop. Thought about it at one time, but never was. Okay, so arrests by year. So the arrests have gone up and down. They pretty much stayed the same. Arrests for low-level offenses. 1,900 arrests for low-level offenses. That's 27 per 1,000 residents. Higher arrest rate for low-level offenses than 70%, 76% of all the departments in the state. My city's 73%. That's not good. They spend all their time on these low-level offenses. Now, did we talk about the amount of police per resident? 31 officers, 31.6 per 10,000 residents, because there's only 9,807 residents. My city has like 7,900 and something. But that's higher, more police than 80% of the departments. What the hell does a little city like Jessup, 10,000 residents, need 31 officers for? Back in the day, that would be so much less. Sure, it's the county seat for Wayne County, but it's a little dinky place in the middle of butthole nowhere. So I don't understand any of that, to be honest. Now let's go to this. Let's bring the Brady list in. There's a Brady list, out there of police departments, and this is Jessup. In the last 10 years, they have had 5 convicted police officers of crimes and have been decertified. This is all I could find on that. All right. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, was like, what's going on here? What are we doing? Why is this happening? We are definitely not teaching de-escalation to our police officers. I wanna go forward here. I wanna go to where this young man's father comes in and talks to the police officer. And look at this this fat police officer. I mean, he's a disgrace to the uniform, in my opinion.
Parker said in that conversation sets the tone for everything that happens next.
Now listen to the tone of this asshole. His name's Parker.
So we had a legal reason to get out with him following a call where he was sleeping in a driveway. And
the woman, Christy, never said he was sleeping. She said he was curled up in a ball at the side of a driveway. Okay? She never said she was sleeping. Now watch how he fabricates stuff.
When we got out with him, he refused to identify himself. And by law, he has to identify himself.
By law, he does not have to identify him by himself, because you never arrested him for a crime. Once you arrest him for a crime, then he's required to identify. You made up a crime. And this goes directly against our general statutes of the state of Georgia. This guy needs to be held accountable. I don't know where he is, what's he doing now, but this was just in October. This is scary. When a guy like this, power hungry, fat Slavic pig, and I don't mean that pejorative cop, but he's a pig because he can't even control his weight, acts like this.
But what crime did he commit? Because Georgia's not a stop and ID state. I don't have to tell you this. You got to have a reasonable, articulable suspicion that he committed a crime. That ain't
stepping on property, on somebody's property, and public intoxication.
He wasn't intoxicated. They didn't even test him for intoxication. You saw where they put him in the cruiser, arrested him. He wasn't intoxicated. He just made that up.
Not in the right of way. So now that's all going in your report, as opposed to just resisting arrest. Because that's what it said. That's what he was booked on.
That is the charge that he was booked for, which is same as obstruction.
That's a secondary offense also.
Okay, I'll have to get that.
I knew that story.
And he's a sergeant. This is a disgrace. I'm sorry. I hate to be negative to our police officers because I love the police. I mean, I just don't understand what's happening to policing today in Georgia. Not just in Georgia. You see it in Tennessee. You see clips all over the internet of this stuff. It's a shame. It needs to stop. Post certification, whatever that means, the post certification. They need to get a better job at training police officers on how to deal with people. Because we're all people out here. We're not all criminals. Walking down the side of the road is not a criminal activity. I was walking my dog on a very busy road near me, and a Department of Public Safety officer, he was going the same direction I was going. I was on the side of the road. I was in the grass. And he stopped. He said, it's not very safe for you to be walking out here. I'm like, who cares? I mean, that's my decision. Now, if I get hit by a car, that's on me. But I'm not in the road walking. I'm in the grass. Why don't you come out here and force the laws, the speed limits, so that it's less dangerous? I know they're overworked. I know they're overbooked. I've talked to my county because I live in the county. I don't live in the city. And they just don't have enough officers. But again, in today's day and age, who would want to be an officer? I know I wouldn't. If my kid came to me and said, hey, I'm going to be a police officer, I'm like, no, don't. What are you doing? Anyways, that's all I got. WWP Reacts. I'm reacting to this video, and I wanted to give you some statistics as to what's going on in Jessup, Georgia, where they have a police department with a $2.3 million budget for 9,807 residents. And most of the time, they're just busting people's balls. Thank you. Have a good day.